Hi guys, and welcome back to my channel. I'm going to be making a quick short video on my darkroom. I've had quite a lot of questions in the past from some subscribers asking me about the setup of my darkroom, and a recent question that I got asked just forced me to kind of make this video, put it out on my channel for people to see. So if anyone wants to know, or in time or in the future they ask me questions, I can point them to this video. So it's just going to be a quick video showing you the setup in my darkroom, how I ended up from being in the bathroom into this shed behind me. So let's crack on and I'll show you my darkroom. So we come inside the darkroom now, and this is the thick plastic membrane that I've used to kind of keep it weatherproof, I suppose, inside, keep the damp out and whatnot. And it's all on the ceilings here, and underneath here is a couple of layers of bubble wrap, just your normal parcel bubble wrap that I've put underneath here. So you can see that's the ceiling. It's got this black membrane all over the roof of the shed. And if you come to here, there it is again on the back wall, and again behind all this is these bubble wraps. So the whole shed was bubble wrapped first, and then I went over it with this heavy plastic lining, and then once I've got all the lining in place, I then used this chipboard, and then on top of that I put this this stuff is like foam. It's like packaging foam. It's quite thick, it's quite heavy, and that's ideal to pin stuff on and what have you. You've seen me make my videos, so you've seen me pin my prints on this foam stuff. So that kind of hides what I've done. But if we come underneath the worktop, which I'll talk about in a minute, you can see that's the chipboard there that I've used. So I've lined the interior of the shed with bubble wrap, then heavy plastic membrane, and then this chipboard as well. You can just about see the membrane underneath there. Lucky enough, my friend gave me this sink because he works on a building site, and he found this sink lying around. So he gave me this sink, and it came with a couple of taps. I'll come to that in a minute. But also I had a couple of kitchen worktops. I'll just get a ruler here. So these are the kitchen worktops, and they come out just under 24 inches. So I've got one kitchen worktop there and another one here. And I built framework for it, as you can see underneath. That's the framework for the kitchen worktops that I painted grey. There's some shelves under there that I've put with all my crap and stuff. I've got a microwave oven as well that I use for heating chemicals in the winter. So once that was all done, and I've got all this bits in, and it's damp proofed and what have you, I've got my enlarger, and I just drilled that in there, and that fits perfectly, does exactly what I want it to do. I've got this board here. You can see this board just hangs out slightly from the worktop. Most of my 10x8s and other sizes I can do on top of the worktop as a baseboard, but I have to use this extra board here if I want to start making bigger prints, as you can see here. Yeah, I get by doing that. And then I made this other board here, and if I want to make my 24-inch prints, I have to turn my enlarger that way round, and it projects onto that board. But I don't often make 24-inch prints, but it's there if I need to. So once this shell was all done and ready to go, the next part was figuring out how to get water inside. And this is my sink here, and I decided to just use a hose pipe to come into the darkroom from the outside tap. So I've got fresh running water that's coming from the outside tap via a hose pipe into the sink. Unfortunately, this tap don't work. It's only on one tap. Unfortunately, this tap's gone. It drips like so. So what I normally do when I come and work in the darkroom is fill this up as much fresh water as I need, and then I go and run to the house and just turn the tap off, the cold water tap outside the house. I've got a lock as well, you can see there, that's a lock for inside, so when I close the shed door, I'll just lock it and no one can come in and ruin my prints. So that's a little lock there. If we look underneath the sink, yeah, it's just a normal sink, and the wastewater goes outside into a water container. I'll show you that now. Into this little tiny 25 litres this holds. So when I finish my darkroom session, all of my washing water goes in there, and I end up putting this around the garden over plants and stuff. So I don't actually waste this. This just goes back off into the garden. I'll throw it over plants and some of the shrubs. And there's no chemicals in there apart from a little bit of washed off fixer and what, but that's minimal, so that works for me. Also, what I've got in the darkroom is these are just storage bottles that I find. This is an old oil container that I washed out, car oil that I washed out. I think that was washer fluid for the car windscreen. And this is all my used chemicals. I've got another one there as well that I use. But what I end up doing is about once a month, I don't get too much of this because the fixer and the stop I reuse, and the developer as well. When I finished it, I just throw it in these bottles. I collect more bottles, and at the end, usually about once a month, I go up the local tip to the hazardous waste area, and I've already spoke to those guys. They know what I'm doing. I told them it's all photographic chemicals. They went, yeah, throw it all in. They said, and we'll just put it in with the rest of the hazardous waste. So that's where all that stuff goes. There's another bottle there if I need it. So far I've showed you my shed. It was a shell, and I ended up with the bubble wrap and the plastic membrane as well, and then the wood chipboard over the top of that, just to keep it warm in the winter and keep the damp out as well when it rains and stuff like that. And it's worked really well. I've had this sitting in there for about 3 years, and I've had no problems with it at all. So that's the water, that's the shed. I'll just show you how I've got the electrics into it. So this is the electrics. So this is an all-weather proof plug, and the cable, and this runs into the house, and it's not drilled in. I literally open the window when I want to use my darkroom and plug it in. That gives me the electricity into the shed. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that's the other side where I've got two sockets. One plug is there for charging my phone, and the other plug goes to an extension socket where all my other plugs go to run my red light to my enlarger. And there it is there. So it's a few extension gang, and those plugs are for my red lights and my enlarger, and also the timer that I use as well. So it's pretty simple really, pretty basic. There's not much else to show you other than the washing line that I use, that I salvaged from a school some years ago, and a little tiny table here that I use as well to put stuff on, and also a little chair that I've got to sit down sometimes when I'm in here for hours on end, and a radiator that I only use in the winter time. And when I use that, I just warm up the shed for about half an hour, and then come here, and that works on a thermostat, so it just kind of turns itself on and off when I'm shooting, when I'm printing in the winter time. And the other lights that I've got are just normal strip lights underneath here. There's one there, and there's one there as well. And I put this stuff here. This is just black mat board. A couple of little signs as well, decorative and all that for the videos. But I put this mat board here because when I'm shooting the videos in the past, the lights, the strip lights, fluorescent lights, were kind of quite glaring in the background. So I just put these mat boards in just to stop the glare. The main reason for these lights is to light up these areas, so I can show you guys the prints I'm making. So that's it. That's just a quick rundown of how I made my darkroom in a shed in my garden. It wasn't that difficult to do at all, and you know, once I've got the shell and the kitchen work surfaces in my enlarger, and I've got the electricity in and figured out how to get water in and stuff like that, everything else that I did just came over time. So you know, putting in things like scissors, clocks, timers, thermometers and jugs and shelves, and anything else that I added to it over time that I needed. And no doubt I'll probably end up putting more stuff in here as time goes on, but it works for me. And you know, it's I used to print in the bathroom, but I'm out of the bathroom, I'm in my shed, and like I said, it works for me really well, and I've enjoyed the time that I've had in this darkroom. As I said, the only I wouldn't say hard, but when it's winter time, it's quite difficult because it can get quite cold in here. But all my chemicals, even in the summertime, it's like a sauna, but at the moment it's quite hot outside, and I've got the darkroom door open. But I always take my chemicals out of the darkroom and I put them indoors, so my chemicals are always stored and my paper's always stored indoors. but I just bring them out from indoors into the shed when I want to start printing. So that's it. Just answered a few questions that I've got from subscribers. That's my darkroom shed, and I'm going to sign off now. Hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks a lot. If you like this video, please hit the subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss the next one.